Welcome, everyone. We've got another Scraps of Memory interview for you. This will be for another set of tournament winners for the 2018-2019 Tag Tournament. For those of you who aren't aware, or if you're listening to this later on, this was a tournament that was meant to mix up partnerships a bit. Previous tournament winners were not able to partner with each other, so it mixed up a lot of those players. And the eventual winners here, no stranger to these interviews himself, Xanxus and his partner Evolution.
Hello, guys.
What's up, everyone?
And so let's talk a little bit about your partnership specifically in this tournament before we move on to some other topics. How did you two first start off as a partnership?
What
You want to
was
start
it?
it off, Eagle?
Yeah, what was it? Like just before last tournament, the last one we played in, we were discussing it and just started teaming up a lot, like on a daily basis. And everything just clicked really nicely. That was when I first started running my current phase of railgun everything, and it just meshed really well with his pressure. He was constantly faking out attacks, so it just set up nicely for what I like to do already. And kind of just went from there.
All right. Would you say that all matches up pretty much with your experience there, Xanxus?
Yeah, and I've always wanted to play a jumper cartwheeler team as well. That was one another reason why. And I've seen a lot of Evo's gameplay clips that he would send me, and I'd see some really amazing pickup, especially on lane. And whenever we played, and there was always a situation where I died, he was someone where when I played with that I could always rely on to pick me up, and I really didn't have to worry or scream out stuff to do. So, that's one of the main reasons as well. And we meshed well. So he, whenever I attacked, he would always counterattack, which was great. I didn't have to call out, when to attack constantly. So.
All right. Well, that does touch on the next question a bit, but elaborate a little bit more on your strengths and weaknesses as a pairing.
Zan, strength, Evo, weakness.
No.
He said it.
I think my biggest strength is reading my opponents, pre-lobby, right when we're about to start the match. I usually get a generally almost spot-on idea of what people are going to do. I think my biggest weakness is I'm not very talkative when we get in the zone. I kind of just do things like Armoros without telling Zan so he can line up a backdraft bullet.
Or hit me with the Rian.
Well, at least you don't execute your partner with Fire Gehenna at 1 health.
Yeah,
Shots fired.
That was brutal.
I always thought that was a weakness of mine. I get so focused and in the game I forget that I have a headset on.
All right. What would you say your strengths and weaknesses as a team are, Xanxus?
I guess our strength and weakness is our strength is we can change roles pretty quickly. So if you saw the game with Doom and OG, we actually switched roles during Palace. In Palace, I didn't really go close range that game. My goal was to be far range. Evo was supposed to be doing the close range. So we can easily swap roles, which was I thought was a strength. And then the fact that we can also run jank pretty well with Evo's ideas with his arsenals and stuff like that. So it always kept people guessing whether or not we were going to use something super janky. I thought that was a strength. And our weakness would be that whenever we did run jank stuff, we were always countered pretty heavily, as you guys saw in some of the videos.
Fair enough. Yeah, I did bring up that as a criticism a couple of times that you guys gave up a lot of free wins when you brought out some of the janky stuff. So I could agree with that. That said, what would you say is the deciding factor as a team that allowed you to finally, at the end, win the tournament?
If you guys notice, every Palace match we had, with the exception of Xanxus and Doom, the last two, for the most part, we always tried to run something janky, and I think that the deciding factor was stop running jank.
Yeah, you guys let off with jank a lot.
Yeah, it was all just for fun. I tried telling him, I think it was Daffy or maybe Murder. We were never at any point in the entire tournament did we have the the notion that we could possibly lose. I don't mean to sound cocky, but I mean, we were confident enough in our gameplay that we felt we could give up a match just to test an arsenal. So a lot of times, like, Palace was our test arsenals.
Yeah, it also kept people guessing whether or not we were going to use something like that again. So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you did take a loss during the tournament. You guys lost to Shadow and Esper. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and like what you did to change things after?
Never happened.
Are you claiming that you did not get hit by Psycho Burst?
I don't think I did. I think I got hit by an Excalibur.
I don't remember what they used. I remember a weird chaos and...
The only Psycho Burst I ever remember was on Lane, and it was a Dance of Death, and it got erased the second he used it from a memory lapse. But
yeah, I also think that a lot of that was we were trying to prep for them and try to use different. I think we were also using some jank, trying to hang and things like that. I didn't really use that many my usual like Nature Faith decks that I usually like run constantly. We tried to use something different. I think in Sign, I made the decision to run I think it was all 2-cost deck. I think I only had one attack that could actually be used, and when they hung the Enviro, it pretty much disabled me completely. So I had no chance. So I think it was a good read on their part what we were going to run there. But I felt like if we were to fight them again and we just played our usual style like we did with Doom and OG, we could definitely take them.
Yeah, Sign was a shit show because both him and I ran like Optic Key, so and everything was built for Slide Laser, Twist Laser, Tiger Strength, and both of us had like maybe 1 or 2 blasters in the entire arsenal that were usable, but I couldn't dash, I couldn't guard, I couldn't photon barrier. Like it was just bad all around. So
yeah, it was a good read on there.
If it were to ever happen again, definitely, I think we'll, like he said, we'll stick to what we do best, and that's just in your face the entire 9 minutes and 59 seconds or whatever it takes to beat them. But I think we would take it. It would be close again because I have the utmost respect for Esper and Shadow, but I think we could take them.
Well, yeah. I mean, that brings me to a point that I made previously, is that I think towards the top 5 or 6 teams, there was a lot of parity in this tournament. Like a lot of teams that could take games off of other teams. I mean, we saw from quarterfinals to finals, we had, I think, all 3-1 and 3-2s. We had like 4 or 5 3-2 series during that time. So we had a lot of close gameplay. So that brings us into the next, kind of couple of topics here. Is what was your favorite opponent and match you had throughout the tournament?
Mine was Doom and OG Part 1. That was my absolute favorite.
What made that one special for you?
I think
well, it's my partner, OG. And there was the respect there. A lot of my decks are built around the way Doom plays. So I have the respect and gumption to want to play more and more like Doom, but then I also have that my buddy who I play with on a daily basis usually is my opponent, and that pressure alone added in the factor that we were down 2-0 and came back. That definitely makes it my favorite match we had so far.
What about for you, Xanxus?
I would have to say the same thing because I don't. The only time I generally get to play against Doom is usually in a tournament environment, and a lot of times in most of the other tournaments we always avoided each other no matter what. We would always either get knocked out before we met each other, or we weren't in the same bracket and one of us got eliminated. So it was the first time, and it was the first time like fighting him, and then I also know OG was ridiculously good. As you said before, Bregan, I think you guys had a match between me and Zex, and like you guys gave it to us. I think it was 4 games in a row. And ever since that day, I was like, yeah, and ever since that day, I'm like, he's one to look out for, definitely. So the first game was definitely it because we lost, I think, 2 in a row. But we I don't think me and Evo ever gave up. Like after that, we just that three straight wins afterwards.
Yeah, Palace and
It was such a good
Palace and
feeling.
City were
Yeah,
rough, man.
yeah, and it was definitely such a good feeling afterwards. Like I think we stood afterwards in party chat for another like 20 minutes, just trying to like cool down and shit. So
Nice.
Mhm.
Excluding your own matches, then, what was your favorite match to watch throughout the rest of the tournament?
Mine was for sure Kanye and Ebony versus Doom and OG.
Except for nobody got to see that one.
Right, but I did,
You
and it's
giant
my
tease.
favorite match.
You
So-
giant tease. What was your second favorite match? Since we didn't get to see it.
Doom and OG versus Esper and Shadow.
I was about to say that one. That one was a brutal series, like just action nonstop.
Yeah, it was. I still remember the GIF that what's his name? I think Affin posted afterwards.
Oh,
Maybe it was
yeah.
Alcohol Mantis.
The
I can't
Golden
remember who
Girl
those two.
sweating.
Yeah, the lady like spraying herself off. Yeah, that was that sums it up, man. That series left me sweating after.
Yeah, some of those pickups were amazing. Like as a jumper, like making some of those pickups, I was like, that's crazy. OG in his pickup game is insane.
Yeah, that guy keeps just like getting better and better. Excited.
I'm
to
telling
see
you, and
more of him.
he just started, so that's what he did. What impresses me more is that he really didn't. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to talk to him someday. Maybe I'll do an interview with him and find out where he came from, if he played before the re-release or what. He could be a potential upcoming interviewee.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which two teams do you wish, or excuse me, which team do you wish you could have faced but didn't get a chance to in the tournament?
For me, it's Kanye and Ebony.
Same here.
I wanted to smoke their asses with Fairy Ring.
Yeah, we made a deck specifically for them, which we never got. We tested it out once, but we had a different version of it made specifically for.
We tested it more than once against them. That deck went like 9 wins for 9 games played, 9 wins against them.
Yeah.
But we never got to use it in a tournament setting.
That's too bad. Maybe you'll have to get him to play against you and then record it.
Well, I have
I'm
it
pretty sure
recorded.
it's recorded.
Oh, you do have some recorded of it? You got to upload that. I'd like to see it.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Anytime, as much as I love Ebony, anytime I get to see him playing his janky stuff and get ass blasted like that, that's just good watching for me. I'll make popcorn.
Yeah, and they started catching wise to it and like cartwheeling off of roofs and shit. So Zan added like backdraft bullet, made it 10 times worse.
All right. Well, on a similar note, what two teams do you wish you could have seen square off? Not versus yourself, but two teams you wanted to see face each other but didn't.
Kanye and Ebony versus you and Gotrix. I wanted to see that match.
How come?
I wanted to see what you could come up with to put a stop to the quantum decay, violent change. I mean, everyone has their own idea of what they could do to put a stop to it, and very few have actually done it. So I wanted to see what you came up with.
What would be your call on that matchup then?
I would give it to Kanye and Ebony because you would be tilted after the first time you got one capsule popped in your spawn.
The trash talk. He brings it in. What about you, Xanxus?
It's always my favorite when someone pops you. They get one capsule and you're across the map, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, they're popping my capsules."
It's less tilt than it is seeing red. I just see murder in my eyes, and I just go for blood.
You just don't want no one touching your balls. I understand it.
It's they're delicate. Xanxus, what about you?
Well, the match technically happened, and there's just no footage of it. It was honestly the iDoom and OG versus Kanye and Ebony.
Oh man, I wish we got to see that.
That is
was good.
I would be willing to watch Doom do Doom things to Ebony and Kanye for hours on end. Honestly,
just to see
It was
what
very
happened the whole match. Like it's I don't know. It's too bad it wasn't recorded.
yeah, a real shame. Maybe they'll give us a show match sometime. Shout out Kanye, Ebony, Doom, OG, please for me. All right, well, I guess that'll bring us to the end of my questions for this tournament. I guess I'll add one extra little one in here. How did it feel winning this one for both of you? Xanxus, did it feel any different this time?
Yeah, definitely. Because as you guys know, I'm used to just playing with Zex, like exclusively. So it was definitely different having a different partner there. Like
Well, you also had
the whole
Gaiden last
time.
time too.
Oh yeah, that's true. But this we actually lost that one. So
Yeah, I wonder how.
yeah.
No,
No,
but the
but
point being, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I said this time around was definitely different because I had someone different there with me, and like Eagle definitely proved like that he's up there. Like that's someone that I would definitely rely on as a tag partner.
Nice. And what about you, Evo? How'd it feel?
I mean, it felt good. I got more wins since the re-release than iDoom has, so felt pretty good. Just kidding, Doom. Just kidding. Sorry.
All right, so what do you want to see in the next tag tournament then if we're able to pull off another before the community completely bombs?
I want to see a single school only tag tournament.
Be interesting, but I feel like there's not that many great one schools. Like you'd be down to like 4 or 5
you say that,
decent
but
decks.
you say that, but when you restrict people to using something like only a single school, they're going to come up with something nobody's seen, something nobody's thought of because they've never been forced to think like that. So if it ever does happen, new stuff will be coming out. I promise. You'll be seeing some key palms leading into like a swift punch or something.
I'd
Key
almost
palm
be
stun,
more
swift
interested
punch
in seeing a 1 school, 3 school only tournament or a 3 school only tournament. Just like not allowing 2 schools or, allowing only 3
That'd be
schools.
interesting.
I think if you allow something like a 1 school, 3 school only, that would be interesting. You'd probably see, what is that? What's that enviro that reduces everyone's aura recovery? It's in nature. Is it Nature's Blessing?
I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you could put somebody at -5 aura recovery. That'd be nasty.
Well, that'd be really interesting. I'd like to see that, and I'd also really like to see some of our former tag teams that we've seen in prior tournaments team up again. So maybe some more Ska Boss and Darcia. The good teams that showed like really solid synergy just didn't quite get over the top of the hill. I want to see them come back and kick some ass.
What about you, Xanxus?
Mine. So what's the question?
What do you want to
What
see
was
in the
that?
next tag tournament?
My nemesis.
What do
I
you
guess?
want to see in the next tag tournament?
My nemesis come out of retirement.
Oh, I
Geigen?
thought you were saying. Got it.
No. Maybe some of the top players like you PD made a brutal team. Reborn Murder. You guys were always like really tough opponents. Like there's matches I go into that I feel really confident winning, but those were some of the matchups like Reborn, Murder, you and PD, especially PD playing a cartwheel now, a cartwheeler, like he's on a whole other level. So just to see you guys pair up again at a next tag team tournament would be sick for me at least.
Well, I'll have to consider it. I'd been talking to Choices about maybe playing together, but we'll have to see what the next tag tournament rule set says anyway. And somebody will have to get me off of Apex. All right, well, I think that brings us just about to a close. I do have 2 last final things. I told you that I would require 1 line of trash talk, but also before I get to that, do you guys have anything you want to say to the Phantom Dust community?
Not to the community, but I do want to thank Xanxus. Awesome teammate. He was really just great about his scheduling and was really sacrificing his sleep, waking up at 2 a.m. at times to play. I couldn't have asked for a better partner, man. You were patient, taught me some things in maps, and just I really enjoyed playing with you. I'd love to do it again someday.
What about you, Xanxus? Anything you want to say to the community or to Evo?
Definitely to Evo. I have to shout him out because there's a lot of times there. I think if it wasn't for him in the original the first fight between Doom and OG, he really won that game for us. Like I could say hands down, like that game I was playing like crap, and I think it was on lane. He took it, and ever since like that, like he's been playing. I think ever since that one game, he's gone on another level of like another tier up, at least for me, because he played great in the second Doom match. I couldn't have asked for a better partner to replace Zex at least for at least this tournament.
Do you hear that, Xanxus? You're a dinosaur. Get out. Well, that doesn't count as your one line of trash talk, though. So I now require one line of trash talk out of both of you. I'll let Evolution go first.
Oh, didn't I already say mine?
That doesn't count. I need more.
Oh, okay. Gagnon, if you come back, I'd like you to leave the Fortress of Arrogance behind and, try and step up your gameplay because you looked like a 12-year-old trying to fiddle with a controller last time you played with Xanxus. And
It's report.
I hear Xanxus in the background. And if you sucked any harder, I'd have to pay you.
It was a bit of a drunken stumble, but he got there to the final insult. Not bad.
Well, you put me on
I warned you. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Xanxus?
I don't trash talk. Nah.
Come on.
Who do you want me to trash talk?
I told you could pick anybody.
It'd have to be Reborn. Reborn needs to come out of retirement so I could take him down.
But you gotta have it. You gotta trash talk it though. Come on.
No, I'm sorry. I don't trash talk, dude.
I'll do it for you. All right.
Go
All
ahead.
right, here, I'll do it
All
for him. Reborn needs to come back and play him so that way he can meet in the finals and lose again.
Yeah, Reborn, you can pull your pants up now. Xanxus and Zexus are done raping you.
That one's more of a 3 out of 10. All right, well, that takes us out for Scraps of Memories. I'd like to congratulate both of you one last time on winning the tournament. I think it was a lot of fun. We got to see different partnerships because of the rulings, and it gave us a different level of gameplay, which I think was fun all around. And you guys did a great job. Had some close wins and a close loss, but you pulled it out in the end. So congratulations on winning the 2018-2019 Tag Tourney.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Evolution, for being one of those who organized said tournament. So once again, I said this about Murder in the Cast, but Evolution is also someone who organized this tournament, and y'all should be thanking him. He did a great job. Thanks, and have a good night.